meals really make a difference? That's what we're unpacking today, and trust me, the answer might surprise you.
Welcome to School Food for Thought, the official podcast of the School Nutrition Association. In this special season, we're diving into the truth behind school meals, looking at some of the biggest myths out there and setting the record straight.
Welcome to Fresh Take, a dive into the latest school nutrition research. My name is Margie Gibson, and I am the director of the Applied Research Division at the Institute of Child Nutrition, and I am a member of SNA's Nutrition and Research Committee. My co-host for this discussion is Alicia Landry. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you, Margie. Great to be here.
Are you wondering what's truly on the horizon for school nutrition research?
Absolutely. Tell me more.
Now, we're not just talking about what's on the menu next. We're talking about the big picture, the advancements, the cutting edge research that is shaping how we feed our nation's students. We are joined today by Dr. Keith Rushing, the editor of the Journal of Child Nutrition Management and a research scientist also at the Institute of Child Nutrition. Keith's work gives him a vantage point on where school nutrition research and school nutrition programs are going in the future. Welcome, Keith.
Hey,
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad you're here. With over 15 years of experience in child nutrition research, what are some of the emerging themes you're seeing in the field right now?
I'd say a big thing that's trending right now in school nutrition is moving back to or moving toward scratch cooking in schools, looking at the feasibility and the challenges associated with moving toward scratch cooking.
Okay, and from your perspective, what are a few key research findings every school nutrition professional should be aware of that could positively impact their operations today?
Well, I would say from a standpoint of scratch cooking, of course, operators out there are doing a lot of different things right now as far as school food goes. And I think they're doing a wonderful job. But I think the opportunity to move more towards scratch cooking provides operators with a great opportunity from a standpoint of control. Of course, there's an issue out there right now with ultra processed foods and controlling the nutrient quality of foods. And I think a lot of the foods that are offered in schools right now are really a very high nutrition quality. But given operators an opportunity to have control over the ingredients really provides them with more control over the nutrient quality. And then a not so surprising, but I think important thing that research is showing that there's a potential for increased participation associated with scratch cooking. But
that's a great point.
In the same side, or at the same time, operators also have to look at what would be the challenges of moving towards scratch cooking. And of course, I think there'd be a lot depending on an operation. If that operation hasn't done scratch cooking ever, or if they haven't done scratch cooking in say 20 years, some of the equipment in their kitchen, some of the staffing skills in their department, would have to be addressed. But there's a lot of opportunity there.
Okay,
Great. Thank you so much, Keith. It's great to have your perspective. We
I
really
appreciate
enjoyed
you having
speaking with you.
Thank you.
Now we'd like to welcome Taylor Peabody and Cass Ring, two researchers of Oklahoma State University. Thanks for being here, Taylor and Cass, to talk us through what Oklahoma child nutrition professionals said they needed to thrive and how Cooking for Kids is the program to help.
Hi, thanks for having us. Like you mentioned, Taylor and I are part of a program called Cooking for Kids, which is housed out of the Nutritional Sciences Department at Oklahoma State University. And we're funded by the Oklahoma State Department of Education, Child Nutrition. Our goal is to support scratch cooking in schools through no-cost culinary training, resources like recipes, and district-wide chef consultations. And actually, this summer is a very special summer for us because this is our 10th anniversary. So we've been offering training and resources since 2015.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's so great the state agency in Oklahoma has been funding some of this work with Oklahoma State. So setting the stage, the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act in 2010 raised the bar, right? It says more fruits and vegetables, enhancing fruit and vegetable subgroups weekly, more whole grains, lower sodium, lower saturated fat. But how does all that work when you actually get into the kitchen, right? So can you talk to me a little bit more about how you all decided to do this research?
Sure. Yeah, we conducted an online needs assessment in the spring of 2023 with our Oklahoma Child Nutrition directors. We knew that the needs had changed post COVID. So we wanted to make sure that we were offering the resources and the trainings that met those needs and those challenges.
Okay, great. Awesome. So now let's talk about the results. So first of all, huge congratulations on the survey response rate. 66 out of 77 counties had representatives that responded to the survey. So 86%, I guess, right? Great response rate.
Great.
So they completed this survey, which another side note on that, it was a lot of check all that apply questions. And if they said other open response opportunities, so it made the data collection and data analysis a huge project to undertake. So what I found to be really interesting about this data collection tool is that you're asking these operators for their information about anything that they need for help, resources wise. So what types of training actually emerged as an interesting topic?
Yeah. So we had, like you said, a great response rate. We had over 1/3 of our school districts across the state respond. And what they really prioritized were introductory level training topics, such as understanding meal pattern requirements, food safety, and standardized recipes. And this was over more specialized topics, such as school gardening and food preservation. So the other thing we did ask them about were personnel management topics, and the major topic centered on motivating staff and managing with limited personnel, which we saw across many industries after the pandemic with burnout and just staffing issues in general. So our results really helped us kind of get an understanding of that environment in child nutrition.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to me also that they're asking for these introductory level topics. I feel like we train and train on these, and it's like we need to train and train more. And in some of the research that we've done in Arkansas and Mississippi, we've seen the same exact thing. And I'm wondering too if that has to do with turnover, constantly training new employees on these introductory things. Some research says over 50% of districts in the United States are rural districts or non-metropolitan districts. So, I'm just wondering in Oklahoma if you found that the differences in training was varied between metropolitan and non-metropolitan respondent.
Yeah, most definitely. 64% of our responses were from non-metro counties. And although Cooking for Kids, we try to offer our in-person trainings at locations, all across the state. So several, many districts can access it. This survey helped us understand those barriers a little bit more when it comes to travel, the cost of travel, the cost of paying your employees to attend training during the summer. So from that, we were able to adapt a few things, and our new e-kitchen, which is an online training hub, kind of emerged from that.
That's quite interesting. We have also seen training needs increase in populations, possibly because of new people coming in to the profession. So I wanted to pivot a bit to talk about a crucial area you explored in your research, and that is the training topics and resource needs identified by your participants. You reported that 61% of your respondents indicated that they needed training on meeting meal pattern requirements. And then an even higher 63% said that they were interested in getting resources for cooking for kids. Beyond those two topics, what crucial or critical resources did your research uncover that school nutrition professionals need?
Yeah. So the main resources participants asked for related to recipes, And one of the major ones they wanted were standardized recipes, which kind of relates to what Keith was talking about schools wanting to move more towards that scratch cooking and that being a trend.
Yeah.
What's the first thing we need to do that?
Right.
Standardized recipes. And then one of the other things related to recipes was they wanted recipes that utilized USDA foods as well so that they can incorporate those into their service. And then some of the other top resources included beginning and end of year checklists to help you open and close your kitchens, and then kitchen cleaning schedules as well.
Wow, those are heavy lifters, huh? With those results, did you anticipate any of this going into the research?
Yeah, so especially after seeing the training topics they were interested in and how that reflected some of those introductory level topics, these resources that they also requested were more fundamental school nutrition operation topics. And so we think that that all tied together. And like you said, with a lot of staff turnover, these are just topics and resources that we need to continue pushing and continue developing to support our community that way.
Yeah, yeah. So, beyond those crucial training needs, your research really shines light on something that's really important, and that's participation barriers. So, the top three were time constraints, lack of paid training, and travel distances. And they are significant when you're trying to get your staff trained. Beyond these key barriers, what else did your research reveal, and what are some practical suggestions for addressing these issues?
So time was a major barrier. It was the top one. And we know how busy school nutrition professionals are. So regardless of the intervention, whether it was something that was in person or something that was offered online, and even something that they could access just on their own time, you have to have the time to access those resources. And so we understand that that's a major barrier. But another one that kind of surprised us was that people just didn't know about these resources. Like Cass said, we have been around since 2015. But a lot of our respondents indicated that they were new to their management roles. And so they were still learning about the support and the resources that were available to them. And so a key message that we learned from that was that consistent communication and sharing our resources and making sure we're putting ourselves out there so that we can be known to both our new and our seasoned child nutrition directors alike.
Yeah, I think access and knowing there is help
Right.
is critical. So ultimately, your study provides a powerful message, and that is policy should actively support training, right?
Right.
So this means advocating crucial elements like paid time for training, competitive wages, and even dedicated funds to support equipment upgrades and things like that are going to be very important. So how are your research findings shaping potentially the future of school meals?
Well, we tried to incorporate some of our findings into what we do. For example, adjusting our what was a 3-day training down to a 2-day training because we know that some staff have other jobs in the summer or they've got other obligations. So trying to make it easier for them to attend. Offering our webinars monthly instead of every other month to help, with that distance. So providing that. And then again, offering our new online training hub to give more distance type training opportunities. But we also were able to incorporate some of those training topics into our existing stuff. So kind of amping up our food safety sections in our in-person training because we know that's something that's needed, and also introducing more culinary math topics.
Good. Um, I think it's critical that we hear the voice of our school nutrition professionals and identify what their needs are. Ultimately, understanding the struggles and the realities of what's happening in school kitchens will help with effective advocacy, right? And help in developing resources that are needed and necessary to support the work done by school nutrition professionals. So, for the school nutrition operators listening to our presentation, or our podcast, should I say, how do you suggest they get involved in research? And can you provide any actionable steps or strategies that they can take in presenting, doing research and presenting and share their research with others?
So, other programs like Cooking for Kids that support school nutrition operations can conduct a similar study, set up an online survey, and ask about their training needs and what challenges their community is facing. And then this could even be done at the school district level. And if it's a bigger district, a survey might be the best option to get in touch with all of your school nutrition staff. Or it could be something as simple as being present in the kitchen and talking to your staff and really seeing what they need and what kind of support would benefit them the most. And so, really, the more information, the more data we can gather and share with our advocates who can then take it to policymakers, that's going to benefit all of school nutrition. So the more information on what we need and shared with those that are making policy decisions is going to really help support school nutrition.
But
So, I kind of building off that too. One thing that I noticed in your article was about the use of the program specialists. So you had focus groups with those, and they really gave you a lot of information, I guess, to help build your survey. So I think that's a great actionable step too, that anybody can take is, just have conversations with those people that are out there in the field every day to learn more about what they do and what they need.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so let's recap really quick. We need technical training on very intro topics like compliance and food safety. We need support resources like Cooking for Kids program that are accessible and bite-sized. So like the e-kitchen training hub that you've launched. And we need people skills. So all these things, we say there might be simple, but I think they're a lot kind of complex, especially the people skills part. So if you want to dig deeper into the fall 2024 Journal of Child Nutrition and Management issue, you can learn more about Cass and Taylor's research study. The journal is available on the SNA website and is all things school nutrition research. Thanks for joining us. We hope you keep nurturing, innovating, and feeding our future.